try a few new things again. I've been playing with the studio to see if I can get it to work as the way it's supposed to. Please excuse my mess behind me. My craft room needs some tidying. If you'd like to pop on and say hi, that would be great, because I'd love to know that you're watching. I'm not sure if I'll be able to see the comments. I'm hoping that I can see the comments, and we'll see how we can go. So today I'm going to show you another freebie from the celebration. We're currently working with the January to April catalogue and our annual catalogue, which also finishes at the end of April, beginning of May. So I've pulled out Elephant Parade. Now, I'm not sure who's seen this stamp set before. It's a very cute little stamp set. It's one that I really like, and I thought you guys needed to see it. So I'm going to swap my camera around so that you can, and hopefully you can see what we're playing with. So this is Elephant Parade. It's available in the annual catalogue. Oh, sorry, excuse me. I've been eating too many raspberries because they're rather yummy at the moment. And it comes as a bundle. So we've got our Elephant Parade cling stamp. So it's red rubber, and there's elephant shaped. Oh no, this is the stylish shaped dies. I mustn't have bought over the elephant dies. There is a set of dies that go with it. So they're over on the other table. I bought these over because this is the card we're going to make. Hi, Sharon. Yay, it's working. I can see your comment. So are you still enjoying those cuddles with her? She's got a brand new baby in the family. So I thought I'd make a baby card because I haven't made one for ages, and I was playing with this one, and I was playing with a few different things, and I thought, I'm just going to have a see how we go. Now, when you're a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, you belong to a team, and we have a team challenge that my team leader sets for us each month, and this month it's a sketch. So we're working with this sketch. I've just pulled it up on my phone because it's the easiest way to show you, because I didn't print it off. I'm a bit like, I like to save paper and then decorate with paper. And this is one of my cards for the sketch. So it's similar. I also used it to make a scrapbook page, which I will pop up. It'll come up on my feed later, so you'll all get to have a look at that one later. So I used the same card sketch, but I turned it into a 12 by 12 scrapbook page. So this is the card that I've made with it. And I'll just put these aside so that I can show you. What I've done here is I've used this paper. Now, this paper is called Dandy Designs. It's free with a purchase of $180 of any products that are available from Stampin' Up! At the moment. I'll just put my mouse over there. All right. And we've got colours of Balmy Blue, Calypso Coral, Coastal Cabana, Fresh Freesia, Granny Apple Green, Mango Melody, and Petal Pink. So I've pulled a couple out. I did, on this one here, I did team it up with some Pool Party, because the way that they've done our Coastal Cabana in the paler colours, it's very similar to our Pool Party. I didn't want a darker base. So, and these were just scraps of pieces that I'd used for a previous project. That's a little bit, here we are, we're working, yay. So I can put that to the side now. That's a little bit where my story started. I was a scrapbooker, and I needed something to use my scraps. Sharon's also a scrapbooker. So this is a packet of 48 pieces of paper. I have used some of it. It's available free when you purchase $180 worth of product. And I just thought I'd show you some of the pieces in it. So we've got this beautiful Mango Melody piece, and look at the flowers on the back. There's a nice piece there. And like, there's so many different patterns and so many great designs, but also in so many different colors. So I'll just, if I go through, I think, and there's that one, and then there's this one, and there's 4 sheets of each piece. So it's great if you're going to make a whole heap of cards, and that's the back of that one. Then So then we've got some Calypso coral of it. Oh, so many pieces of paper, they're all over my table. So this one here's got that on the back, and then look at that one. How cool's that one? All right. I sort of want to just flick through them, but I won't. And then that's got that one on the back. So it just depends. And then there's some blues and some greens, and you know, we've got like quite a few nice color options. That one's got that on the back. And see, I love these dotty ones. Some small stripes. I'll stick them on the bottom now. And then this is our Coastal Cabana. It's such a pretty colour. That one's on the back of that. Look at that. That's the Granny Apple Green. I love this piece. I nearly teamed it up. For the card I'm going to do next, I nearly teamed it up. It's exactly the same card. It's just different colours, and they're all from this pack. So I was going to do these colours, but look at that. How nice is that? So you can see you get quite a lot of variety. And if you were just cutting those up and putting them on the front of cardboard, on front of card fronts, on the front as card fronts, you're going to get 6 per sheet. That's a lot of card fronts. So looking at this little baby, I have got a few things happening here. So I've brought this ribbon over, but this ribbon has got some balmy blue on the bottom, which work perfect for that. It's not going to necessarily work for these colours. But so we got a little boy one, and we might do a little girl one. So I also, have you seen these cuties? These are available in the new, in the mini. They're mini blending brushes. How cute are they? So I bought one of them over because I'm going to use it to colour the bottom of this. So it's darker on one side than it is on the other, and I'm just going to add some fresh freesia to it. So the colour we're playing with is fresh freesia. I didn't bring an envelope over. I'll do an envelope at a later time. So I've shown you before, I've got like a bit of a, I don't know how the easiest way to show you on there is, I've got like a bit of a lip from my blade because I've been pushing, I push it quite hard. So I'm just going to run my bone folder across my blade, across my blade mark there, just to neaten it out. Okay. And fold these in half. You can use the trimmer to fold it in half, use the edge of it to jam it in, but you don't need to. Okay, and we'll just make that nice and firm there. I've got 2 pieces of cardstock. I've got one for the front and one for the inside. So all I've done on the inside of this is I've popped grey because I wanted my elephant basic grey. I'm not sure if you can see, got a little bit of colour. All right. I coloured him in a little bit with the pencils. I'm going to colour this one in a lot more with the pencils. All right. And I've got sitting on my table somewhere. That one. No, that one's a bit older. So I've used the star shapes to cut it. Okay. There's some really cool shapes in here. And I've brought over, this is how I store my pencils. You got a granddaughter, Sharon. You're going to need to do the scrapbooking again. You're going to start from scratch because you've got new material. I do love scrapbooking, but I did find this, having scraps of cardstock and paper, I didn't know what to do with it. So this is a nice card for using up some of those scraps. But back to it. So there's 2 sets of watercolor pencils. I've got both sets in here, but I've just got one of the packet fronts stuck in here. So, and I've got extra bits stuck in there as well. Don't mind those. So I keep a blender pen in here as well. I'll just take all my Christmas taggy things out. They're for a different project. My dogs are going off their nut. I'm going to presume that means that somebody's home. Okay, so we've got just about every colour of the rainbow between the 2 packs, including a white. We've got a basic grey, so I'll be using that. And I'm thinking that the ears, we might put a little bit, this one here is Flirty Flamingo, so I'm not sure, I think it might be a bit too pink, but we'll have a play and see whether Calypso Coral's a bit better. We'll see which one we like. Okay, and then if you wanted to, here's some Coastal Cabana to, oh no, look, there's some Granny Apple Green, so we can do some leaves. Okay, so we'll just have a play and see what we come up with. All right, so to stamp, I'm just going to stamp my elephants straight on here. These elephants, they're great in that you can layer up designs. If I had the dies over here with me, there's actually extra things that you get in the dies. So you get like the leaves, you get grass, so and things like that. So you can actually make like a little diorama with it, and it just becomes really cute. Makes a nice little birthday card because you can actually it cuts the balloon and the, what are we going to call that, the tail, the ribbon, so you can hang it from his trunk, and yeah, you can have a lot of little fun with it. So I've already got my sweet little one on the stamp, and I'm thinking that I will actually stamp that in my fresh freezer, and I'm putting this on first because then my elephant can be straight based on that. So you got to hold your tongue right. There's my sweet little one. So I'll close that up. And this is the basic grey. All right, I'll catch you later, Sharon. All right, go cuddle that baby. And this is the elephant I'm going to use. So she's actually going to fit quite nicely under there. And if you line up using your grid paper, if you've got the grid paper, all right, you can get it relatively straight. So I'm just going to pop her there. Okay, and I'm going to let her dry a bit. All right, because I'm going to use the watercolor pencils, this is basic white paper, and I'm going to use this blending pen. What I'm going to do is I'm going to let her sit here for a little bit so that she dries, because this will move the ink from the pen. Okay. All right. On my inside, I shouldn't have covered up my leaves. On my inside, my leaves. Shouldn't have put my lid back on there. I'm going to use some leaves, and I was just going to. You can sit them like that way. You can sit them like that way. You can sit them any which way you want. I'm just going to make them like their little border. And they're going to go in all different directions because they can. And when I do my envelope, I'll do it sort of similar. And again, I'm just going to let them sit for a bit because I'm going to colour them with some Granny Apple Green. I could have actually stamped them with some Granny Apple Green, but I think that the grey outline looks nice. All right. And what I'm going to do on here, I'm not sure if you've noticed, I've actually done some embossing on here because it just gives a little bit of a difference. Let me show you what I mean. So if I've got my plain piece of cardstock on here, and then I just layer up my pieces. These are just cut. This one here is, let me see, approximately 5 centimeters by 11. And then these are just cut into proportion to go with it. Okay, so if this one's going to land smack bang in the middle, that one's going to land there. And then this one is a little bit smaller and it's going to land there. Okay, so it's quite flat. All right. But when you add your sweet little one here, and we're going to add a ribbon, it actually lifts it a bit. But you can see the difference between it and the embossing folder. So your embossing folder can sometimes really make it. Okay, so just be aware that, like, it doesn't need to be anything fancy, and it can be that this is a designer series piece of paper, something with maybe some little fine dots or something that doesn't take away from the feature of the front. is what we're looking at. You could also put a little bit of shading or some blending on it. You could stamp on it if you wanted to. There's some quite cute little extra bits in here that would make some very nice stamping. All right, so I'm actually going to add that feature of the embossing folder. So I'll just move all these bits to the side so the feet on my cut and emboss machine, which I'll just bring in here, doesn't do it any damage. Okay, so I need to take out that piece. I still haven't found my grey folder from last week. So I did clean up a bit too. So now, because this is a directional print, you want to make sure that you're either straight or really crooked, one or the other, not half and half. So because it doesn't matter if you're crooked, but you want to make it so that it's really crooked, so it's obvious that you did it deliberately. I'll just pop this one through here. Oh, get my muscles out, crank it through. Always make sure that you put your seam, your fold, your bend, whatever you want to call it, in first. And I'm just going to turn all that over to store that, like so. Keeps my folders nice and flat, on my plates nice and flat. And there we have it. Now you've got an embossed side and a debossed side. Okay, and it's up to you which side you use. They're pretty well, fairly similar looking on this particular one, but it's just a matter of which one you like. Now, if you would like to, you can add a little bit of color to it. All right. And you can go around the edges, or you can go from the middle and out, which is what I'm going to do here. And the reason why I'm going from the middle is because this is going to go and stick a whole big wad of color on it when I first start. But I just want a little bit of color around the edges. You'll notice it will pick up on the raised bits a bit better than it will on the lower bits. Now, if you've already got some ink on your brush, on your blending brush, and you don't want to use too much because you don't want it to be really stand out, you can, we talk about huffing on our stamps, so you can go ha on your brush and it will actually re-moisten that ink, so you get more color. Okay, and I just wanted a subtle little bit of color, but with those quite white edges. Okay, and then what I'm going to also do is bring all my bits back in. Not my inside, I want this one. I used to use my daubers all the time to do this, but I've found that my brush will do it quite nicely as well. Okay, hi Cheryl, how are you going? Thank you for joining us. Making baby cards. Cheryl's making baby cardigans, if I am correct in thinking that. I'm just putting a bit of colour on the edges just to pretty it up a bit. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to add a little bit around here as well. Just a smidge. Okay, so there's not a lot on it, but if you put it against that white there, you can see it, just a smidge. And it just takes a little bit of that sharpness off. You can do this with a dauber. We've got daubers in the online store as well, and they just fit nicely on your finger. But these, I'm actually loving these little brushes. You seem to be able to get into tighter little holes with them, and they seem to be a lot better for doing this sort of action. Okay, so I'll cover that. Actually, no, we need to do our, we need to do our ribbon. Okay, so I'm going to bring this ribbon in across here. This is going to take a bit more ink. Okay, and it's just going to be a matter of what on the side that's got the darker blue, I'm just going to add color. So, and it's just going to be subtle but present. Not sure if you can see it, but there is color there. And then on this side, I'll add some more. And it's just a matter of doing it until you're happy with how much colour's on there. Okay. And I want it to stand out a bit. When I held up we've got fresh freesia ribbon and it's very pretty, but I love how soft and subtle this is. I love how it's two-toned. I know the other color is not really the color we want, but it's going to work. All right. So yeah, okay. So we've just added some color to that. And then now would have been a good time to then come back and do your brushing on here because there's still some color left on it. Okay, you could have left it till last. Re-wet it with a good old huff and it will make it moist again. Okay, and it will just add a bit of, I don't know, what's the word? Lift it up a little bit. Okay, so that's that layer and that. I'll just pop them to the side. Let's do some colouring. There's something about adult colouring that is nice. Oh, here's my basic grey. I've already pulled all the colours out. Why am I getting them out again? Now, I want a smooth edge on my pencil just so that I can colour quite nicely. Now, you can either go really light or you can go quite dark, but it doesn't have to be overly neat because we're going to come in with our blender pen and change it just a smidge. Excuse me for one sec. Grace. She's chewing boxes. Okay, so, and I'll just colour in his body. And I'm just giving him a subtle all over colour. But like I said, it doesn't need to be 100% neat because we're going to use the blender pen on him. If you wanted a sparkly elephant, I don't know where I got Teddy from. Where those little creases are, I'll just put a little bit of thicker colour. If you wanted a sparkly elephant, you could run over it with your Wink of Stella, and that will give you a nice sparkly elephant. Hold on a second. Grace! She must have sore teeth. She's chewing on everything, and a stamp set is not something that's okay to chew on. I've got a box of them on the floor, of retired ones, and she's making the most of it. Okay, so you can put some little shadows in here. He's a bit darker under here. We could even add a bit of blush to him if we wanted to. But essentially, colour your elephant in. Look at his frown lines, aren't they cute? Make him as dark or as light as you want. It's going to be quite dark under his chin and here between his legs a bit. Okay, and then I was thinking, so we've got, gosh, that's pink. Much of a muchness. I'm thinking, based on the colours that are in here, let's go with coral. This one here is Calypso Coral. So they're the same colours as what we've got in our inks. They're just in a pencil. And they're watercolour pencils. So when I get out the blending pen, or if you used a watercolour pen, that'd work too. This one's a new one. It's quite wet. And it's just going to smooth it out a bit. But you've got to keep in mind, when you touch the grey ink, it's going to move that too. So we want to make sure we don't go too close to the grey ink. It will take a little bit of the colour off as well. So if you've got a bit heavy-handed in some places, or start at the darker bits is probably a better way of putting it. Okay, we'll just give him a little bit. Oops, I went out of the lines. But essentially, I'm just moving all of that pencil around a bit, just to push it around to the edges. Make sure it's nice. I'm not wetting my cardstock too much because I don't want to wet it as such. This dries really fast as well. And I don't want to go over it too many times in the one place. Because you'll end up blotchy. And we can't have a blotchy elephant. But see, he's rather cute, isn't he? Can't believe I went outside the lines. That's okay. And to get the color off our pen, we just do it until it runs clean on our piece of paper. Now, because I've done a little bit of a blotchy there, bring in some green. Let's put a little bit of green grass around our cute baby elephant. If I had my dies over here, I could have cut some, but you can actually color it and you can do it as well. Okay. So now I've hidden my little whoopsie. And if I really want to, I'm hoping that you can all see, Pacific Point's a nice blue. We've got Night of Navy and Pacific Point. And then we've also got Balmy Blue. Let's go with Balmy Blue for a little bit of, sky. All right. So we've got a little bit of sky. And I'm literally just shoving it around. And staying away from the other bits of ink that I don't want to move. All right, so there's my little scenery as such. Okay, let me pull it a little bit closer to you so you can see. Okay. So let's pop this together. Oh, well, let's do my leaves first. We'll put some green in here. So we'll just go like so. And again, you don't need to be neat. You don't need to be tidy. You can if you want, but you don't need to be. You just need to make sure there's some color on them. And sort of make sure it goes with my, let's get a bit of color all over the background. And nobody said you only have to use one color. So if you wanted to use two, you could. So if you wanted to give your leaves some definition with some other color, you can do that. Because there's more than one green in the packet. Or the two packets combined. And then again, we'll just bring the blending brush in and just literally going between each one of those. Because I don't want to move the grey. Okay. So this little set comes as a bundle. You can buy the bits separately, but you save 10% when you purchase a bundle. A lot of sets come as bundles, so always be on the lookout for them. Okay. At the moment, you need to consider seriously, if you are looking at purchasing from Stampin' Up, that you might like to join. I have a team called the UniQ Crafters that you're most welcome to join on. We have a team page called the Inksomniacs, which we belong to with my upline Linda. So there's lots of room for inspiration on there. And you know, she runs some as you can see, some challenges for us and things like that. But new team members are always welcome. I do have a team page as well. or a frequent shopper page. I run my team member. I use this stamp set this week. I've got a or if you like to go roses and glaze, yes, that's for sure. I've got I belong to a tutorial group, which my team members will get the tutorials for free, but my customers also get it. So usually it's around anywhere between 8 and 10 tutorials each month. So the people that are getting, anyone that purchases from me in January, or my team members for January, they will actually receive the tutorial bundle that includes another card made with this stamp set. I'm tripping over my tongue. We've got 3 options for joining at the moment. One of them, which is my favorite, I mean, I love the little mini machine and the fact that you can get it in boho blue at the moment. Yeah, nice new name. It gives us a hint as to one of the colors that's coming with the next annual catalogue. I don't believe it will be available for purchase in the next annual catalogue, only the white one. I believe it's a special limited edition. So if you're a blue person and you really need a blue mini cut and emboss machine, now's your time. You need to join. Okay, and get your blue mini cut and emboss machine. That one's a bit different, but for the basic one, which I really like, we normally get $235 worth of product. We normally get for $169. If you want to do that, you now currently get $315 worth of product for your $169. If you want to do the machine, it works out as $210, but you get the machine plus $235 worth of product. So it's a little bit different. The dynamics are a little bit different. Just watch my page over the next few days. I'll post all the different options for you there, just so that you can see. Look at that. See how cute are they? So this is using that paper pack with Fresh Freesia. Now, I know that Cheryl, who's watching, purple's her favourite colour. And I'm actually starting to use more and more of the Fresh Freesia. I do really like it. This one here, before I stick this one down, we need to add our ribbon. So let's get special with some ribbon. All right. So this is just the tear it tape. I'm going to need 2 pieces, but I'm going to pull this across here. I'm actually going to make it so that the bluer part is underneath, so it's not as obvious. So because you can see it's darker on one side than it is on the other. All right. And what I'm also going to do is I'm not going to tie the bow. There's a couple of different ways that you can do this. And this is one way. This is the way I teach my friends that come to club to do it, because you can then move your bow. And the more of my videos that you watch, you'll see me doing it. Is really cute paper, Cheryl. Really, really cute paper. So leave it a little bit slack. Don't get it too tight. You don't want to pull it too tight because it will bend your card. So you need to leave a little bit of, let's call it wiggle room. And that piece there is my wiggle room, essentially. See how it's got a little bit of a floppiness to it. I do actually have fabric scissors, but these ones are fairly sharp. Okay, I don't think I've made enough. No, I haven't. So I'm going to have to go back in and add a bit more color here, because I don't have enough. Because essentially my color's ending here, and I think I'm going to need about this much for my ribbon. So I'll add some more color to this side, and I'm going to add it to the other side, just because I want to make sure I get both sides covered. Just it's subtle, but it's not so subtle, for want of a better word. And it looks like, I was just looking at my piece here, it looks like I've covered all that blending that I've done on here. I've covered most of it up. How funny is that? So what's this? Let's make it come out a bit more. Now there's a little bit showing, not much, but anyway. But what it does is also takes off some of the color off the brush. These wash in the washing machine. I put them in a bra bag and a dark load. Don't put them in a light load, you'll regret it. Okay, so to do my bow, I like to work with my ribbon spool on that side. Pop that under there, because then this side can be my loop. Now what you will find, it is harder to get with this ribbon. It's really hard to get a tight knot. So don't get too fussed about it initially, because I actually want to make it so that it's more, I don't want it's soft and the pieces of the loops end up gathering up, and I don't want them to gather up. But I also don't want them to be huge. So I just pull it down a little bit, really tight. And really tight again. Okay. So see how it's just changed that color? That bit there is still very blue and white, and I don't think I'm going to be able to tweak it too much. That's why you have to make sure you've done enough of it. Let's see how we go. So it's going to sit up that way. You know what? How great does that look? Let's give it a little bit of a... These aren't the greatest scissors for it because I've used them on paper, and paper seems to make them blunt. But then, because this is just, I haven't stuck it down, I can decide which way up I want it, and then I've got to decide where I want my bow. So based on where I've put this bow, I want it over on the edge. That one needs a bit neatened up, but I want it over on the edge. Okay, so I want to, and see how it looks like it should be sitting this way. I'm just going to grab it and I'm going to literally shove it over there. Okay, pull it tight again. Because of the type of ribbon it is, don't pull on the edges, on these endy bits, because they fray. All right, because then that can sit there like so. This one's just going to get glued straight down. See, and if you pull it too tight when you stick it down, you can pull these up and take it down a bit, but yeah. If you pull it too tight when you stick them down, I leave those bits stuck. I don't move them, but I do put some glue on my ribbon each time. Okay, it just holds the ribbon better. And I want a similar amount on this side to what's left on that side, plus my ribbon. And I want it straight, Court. Does anyone else talk to themselves while they're crafting? I do. Okay, so there's that. And let's stick this baby on with some dimensionals. And he's really cute. So he'd look really cute popped up, but if you don't have a cut and emboss machine, then it makes it really hard to pop up. So, you could do this card very easily without a machine. And I know that some crafters, it takes some time to collect their goodies. But whilst there's that great joining special, like the cut and emboss is over $200 normally. But why not get it for $169 and then get extra stuff on top of it? Like, that's what I like about the joining promotions, is that no one said you actually have to buy stamp products. You can buy tools. Like, you can buy all tools. Now, if you wanted to and you had some pretties, you can stick pretties on it. These are the sequins, and they come in packs of these 3 colors. And I've been using these for almost 12 months. And look, there's still heaps of them. I haven't made any shaker cards, but like, there's no reason why you can't pluck out of this or any pack, because there's a lot of ones that are not necessarily pink in there, for want of a better way of putting it. Where's my take your pick tool? So like, you've got gold, you've got colors that, oh, it's got a big knobby thing on the end. You've got these ones here, which are just being elusive. Hi, Karen. All right, so you've got all these other options here. They don't need to necessarily be pink that you're sticking on there, because this one's got quite a lot of white in it. Actually, so that they all do, but they've all got this. I really love this sparkly sequin. I mean, we can get sequins that have got what are they called? Adhesive on the back, but they're not sparkly. But these ones are sparkly, and there's something special when you add a bit of sparkle. So I'm going to take away that one. But there's even like little hexagons. Look at that one. And they're whatever color the light hits them in. So we don't want that one though. We want sparkly ones. And maybe even some little silver ones. I forget. So I'm just putting a few of these out onto here. And I'm noticing that there's a couple joined together. I forget. So, and it's even got like, you see that? Like little half pearls. It's funny. One of the family jokes around here is we add pearls to lots of things because my mother doesn't like them. And we do it deliberately to annoy her. And I think it's a bit like when the kids come to hang out in my videos because they think it annoys me. They're right. All right, let's have some uneven numbers. All right, so we do that to Mum to make it so that we put gems and stuff on it, pearls. She's not a pearl fan. Tiniest little bit of glue on there. It's stuck to the edge of my glue. This glue does not dry. It dries clear, but it does not dry as such, in that it will stay a little bit sticky or tacky. So you don't want to be overly generous with it when you're doing this. So I'm barely even squeezing it. And then I can pop these onto them. Okay, give it a bit of a push down. Because I want them to stick, but I don't want them to, I want them to stick to the card, but I don't want it to stick, the glue to stick to the envelope. We do have fine tip glue if you like it. I normally fight with it. So it's not this is my adhesive of choice if it comes down to the crunch. So there we have a cutie. I know you love pearls, Cheryl. I like stuff that sparkles. And look, how gorgeous does that look? It just lifts it. All right. So there's the two of them, one for a little girl and one for a little boy. And one of the girls at my work is having a baby and we don't know what it is yet. So I'm ready. She can have a boy or a girl and it's not going to matter because I've got a card already made. All right. So that is our Elephant Parade stamp set. Our gingham embossing folder. Our watercolor pencils, our stylish shapes because they've got this really cool stitched feature around the top of it, some sequins, some dimensionals, some ribbon, and some blending brushes. Okay, there's a whole heap of goodies there. Alrighty, so I'll just pop these away. I do keep blending brushes in here with my pencils because they're one of my preferred mediums for when I'm using the pencils. I will use them another day as a, what's it called? To show you how to use them as watercoloring. So, thank you for joining me. It was lovely to see you. Thank you for that, Cheryl. She's telling me that they're pretty cards. And I've worked out that if I can go like this, it will show everyone that she said they're pretty cards. All right. Well, it's nice. Cool. All right. I don't know if you can see my elephant. If anyone knows how to make your web camera on your computer zoom in a bit, I'd love to know. What red? I like the red. What red are you talking about, Karen? The red of my mouse or the red rubber? All right. So if anyone knows how to make your personal camera on your webcam zoom in, I'd love to know, because that's where I'm at the moment. I haven't found that tweak. And yeah, yes, the red mouse. I got a red one and I got a blue one. So it depends on which computer I'm playing with. So a blue one and a red one. Yeah. And all right. So it was great to see everyone. And I'll see you next Thursday. Toodaloo.